What's going on, beautiful and amazing people? Welcome back to another episode on the Life as Huncho YouTube channel. It's your host, the one and only Hugh Huncho himself, right? In this video, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. This video is going to be talking about focusing on what you can control, right? Focusing on the things that are actually within your space or level of domain, right? Your level of influence, right? And the reason why I say this is because a lot of times, right, I would say for a very long period of time in my life, I would get very frustrated, right? Very upset when I see people do things that are not in their best interest or not for their greater good, and that it would affect them. And then to see the thing about it, I'm a person that, hey, listen, you're gonna do what you need to do, right? I cannot control a person to do something. But the thing about it though, right? Well, what it would be was that person's own actions, they would do something, whether it was positive or negative, right? Something that would probably hurt them, more so negative, and then they will come towards me to try and fix or remedy the situation. And that's where a lot of frustration would come from, because it's like, yo, I told you not to do this thing, you go ahead and do it, and now you want me to fix your problem, right? When I wasn't the one that put you in that position. See, now the thing about it though is that what I had to understand is that this is gonna be a constant thing that you're gonna go through on your journey to success, on your path of financial freedom. And the reason why is because a lot of people, they see you as the problem solver, right? You are probably the one person in your friend group that thinks like how you think, or have the various different opinions, or you're more ambitious than other people. So what happens is that a lot of times people see these high level, high frequency individuals, and they gravitate towards them subconsciously, right? Subconsciously. And then what happens is these people who are high frequency, like you, like myself, right? Like other people who probably will tune into this kind of content. And since we are such a high vibrational frequency, we understand we are spiritual beings and we have the ability to control and manipulate and influence our environment. We want to have that control on all different aspects of our lives, right? We want to have that control on our finances. We want to have that control in our love life. We want to have that control on our bodies as well, right? When we talk about health. See, but the thing about it though is all you can control is what's actually within your control. And what do I mean by this? All you can control is how much money you spend. You can control how your thoughts are, right? What kind of thoughts you think, who you give your time to, right? How you actually spend your time, how you react to people's reactions, or how you react to people's actions, I should say, or how you react to people's actions. Those are the only things you can control. You can't control who's going to be the next president, right? That's beyond your control. You can't control what's going on in the economy right now, right? You can't control the way your parents or the way your friends or the way society views certain things. You can't control what social media want to say about this and this and that, right? You can't control the 98% of the population that think one way, right? You can't control those things. But why would you want to anyway? Those would just be more things that are going to stress you out, more things for you to consider, and more things for you to put mental energy and focus towards. And what that's going to do is that's just going to waste your time, make you frustrated, and take away the time and energy that you would have spent on something else, on a different endeavor, on something else that you really can control and focus on. Right, a lot of times we try and control or try and change the person that we're with, our significant other, when you have to understand, like I said, you cannot control that person's thoughts, you cannot control that person's actions, you cannot control that person's belief. That person grew up and they lived a whole completely different life, right, that you might not know about or you might not be aware of before they met you. So they have pre-existing beliefs, pre-existing way of thinking and thought patterns that were there and ingrained in them before they met you, right? And a lot of times we try and either change or influence these people, and many times in a positive light. But you ever heard that saying, right? You could bring a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. That's the way it is with some people, right? That's the way it is with some people. That's the way it is with certain things, right? Like you can't control certain policies. Well, I had a video early back that talked about how life isn't fair, and life really isn't fair. at the end of the day, so many people, they try and focus on, changing their parents and making their parents view things from their perspective. You have to understand, your parents lived a whole life, right, before you were even born. Do you know how hard it's going to be to change that way of thinking? To make them see things from a whole different generation's perspective? So why would you even put yourself through the headache of trying to do that, right? This whole purpose of this video is for you to start reshifting your focus on other people, and it's reshifting your focus on what's going on the news, what's going on social media, what's going on in these celebrities' lives, and start focusing on, okay, at the end of it, you can't control what they say in the comments. You can't control how people think about things. You can't control how people contort and conform themselves out into society. You can't control what people are posting, right, on their own platform, calling it freedom of speech, even though in reality, just dropping fake news and trolling. You can't control these things. All you can control is your own reaction to it. All you can control is how much time you spend on the platform. How does it affect you internally? All you can control is what you allow actually in your mind, in your body. Those are the things that you can control. So once you start focusing more on the qualities and the aspects of your life that are within your control, that's when you can actually start influencing some things that might not be in your control. When you start showing up to work on time, because that's within your control. When you start going to the gym more regularly, right, because that's in your control. Now what happens? Something that might have not been in your control, whether that's getting that promotion or leveling up to another position, that's not in your control, but you influence a certain aspect that was, and now you got that promotion, right? Your health. You can't control whether you get some kind of illness or disease, right? You can't really control that. You can't predict that. But by you going to the gym more frequently, now you have dwindled the chances of you developing any kind of ailment, any kind of disease, any kind of chronic ailment or disease at all. You've lowered that chance because you focused on what's actually within your control. You can't focus on the time span of when you're going to become successful or when you're going to get rich, but you can focus on how much videos you put out. You can focus on the quality of video. You can focus on things that are within your control, how long the video is, the kind of content and message that you're putting out, right? So you can't control how your significant other, the kind of music that they listen to or how late they, stay out, right? But what you can do is that you can be more positive around them. You can not listen to that kind of music or watch that kind of content. You can maybe hold them more accountable, right? And you can double down on your positions. Hey, I don't like you being out or hanging out with these types of people, right? And don't even let their actions influence your emotions. That's something else that you can control. You can control how you react to their actions or react to what they have to say or their way of thinking. And I promise you, I guarantee you, the moment you start focusing on all of those aspects and all those qualities that are within your control, then the things that you thought weren't in your control, now they're gonna start being influenced a little bit. They're gonna start tailoring themselves to be like you because your frequency is what you frequently see. So if you just frequently focus on the things that you can't control, focus on the things that are making you frustrated, angry, then you're not going to see the things that you can't control, or the things that you can't influence, or the things that you can manipulate or change, right? And then that's where the feeling of hopelessness, the feeling of being powerless, that's where that comes in. That's where that feeling starts seeking in. But the moment you start focusing, okay, I can focus on when I wake up. I can focus on what I put in my mouth, right? I can control, what habits I do on a day-to-day basis. When you start focusing on the things that you can control, I promise you, I guarantee it, all of the other things, moving in your direction, because the universe wants to see you win. The universe really does, right? People think that sometimes the world or universe is out to get us, but in reality, it's not. It's actually for your greater good. But you have to start seeing those silver linings in situations and not look at the negatives. Stop looking at the bad things. And stop focusing so much on the things that are not within your control. Because at the end of the day, right, once you shoot the basketball and you put it in the air, you can't focus on whether it's going to go in or not. Right? You can't control whether it's going to go in or not. So why focus on that? What you need to do is start focusing on that rebound. See what I'm saying? That's something that's in your control. Moving and boxing out, getting ready to crash the board. That's something that you can focus on, right? You can't control whether this girl at the gym is gonna want to go on a date with you or not. You can't control that. But what you can control is you can control yourself approaching her, being respectful, right? You can't control whether she's gonna show up early or on time, but you can focus on making sure when she does show up that you have a good date, that you have a good time, right? Those things that are actually within your control. All right, so with that being said, right, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode, right? Until the next one, my name's Hugh Huncho, and I'm out.